30,000 Australian children have autism.
No one knows the cause. There is no cure.
But there is hope.
For me.
For me.
And me.
And me.
Through research, activism and education, we can improve the lives of families with autism.
Early intensive behavioural intervention can help families achieve the best outcome for their child.
It's helping children to learn how to learn.
Doctors used to recommend institutions for people with autism.
Now we're aiming at university.
Autism is stealing the minds and personalities of a generation of Australian children. Just think.
If 30,000 Australian children were kidnapped, it'd be front page news.
Well, 30,000 Aussie kids have been kidnapped by autism.
And we need to do everything we can to bring them back to us.
Don't let autism have the last say in a family's life.
For more information, go to autismawareness.com.au.
If you don't know someone with autism, you will.
That's us. Well, that's a very good question. It's a very honest answer. I don't do that at all. Well, you see, it's actually called a social convention. Well, that's very true. Okay, so autism spectrum condition is, as it says on the tin, it's a spectrum. The spectrum goes from low functioning through to high functioning and Asperger's syndrome. And the higher up the scale that you go, the more independent the adult or child. Each autistic person is individual, like a snowflake. Autistic people often describe us as cabbages, because cabbages all grow exactly the same, where they're more like exotic flowers with lots of different colours and facets. But there are three main areas that affect a person with autism, and that's social and emotional, language and communication, and the flexibility of thought. Health professionals call this the triad of impairment. Autism is the way that people are, and it's not something that they have. Autism is displayed through many different ways. As you can see in your sheets, there's some examples. I'm going to talk you through a few of the examples today. Things like indifference is something that's often displayed in autism, where people tend to be more focused on their own interests, and especially when someone like myself is trying to support that person to make decisions in their life and give them choices and enrich their lives, and they really don't want to listen to a word that you say because they're too busy doing something else. It can be challenging. Also, there's a condition that some low-functioning autistic people have called echolalia. So, for example, if you were echolalic, and I asked you if you'd like a cup of tea or coffee, you would say coffee. And if I asked you if you'd like a cup of coffee or tea, you would say tea. Because that's what echolalic people do. Oh, this is Makaton, sorry. This is a way of communicating for people with learning difficulties. It's like sign language, but more visual. I can teach you a few today. That's like. This is love if you want to join in. Love. Okay. Don't like. Don't like. Doesn't matter what my facial expression is doing. Don't like. Angry. As you can see, it's very visual, so it's very easy to understand, whereas sign language has grammar and emotional intonation. This is frightened. With your hand pulsates. Worried. You're almost making a circle on the side of your head. Worried. Happy. So take your left hand and scoop with your right. Happy. Happy. Sad. Just a straight line. If you ever come into contact with someone who speaks sign language and all of a sudden you feel panicked and, I don't know what to say, I'll teach you a simple sentence. Basically how to say, I don't understand sign language, can you write it down please? So you take your hand, flat palm, and you bend inwards and outwards twice, and that's I don't understand. Two fingers in L shapes, in a circle. This is sign. Flip them forward and across. That's language. So, I don't understand sign language. Can you write it down as if you're writing on your forearm? Okay, write it down, please. Now in sign language, please and thank you are exactly the same because you can see the emotion in your face, you know, please, thank you. But in BSL it's slightly different because it's visual and non-emotional. So please and thank you. Please is longer and thank you is shorter. Please and thank you. Please and thank you. Two words I don't hear very often. But there you go. Those aren't the most common signs. The most common signs I know are biscuit and more. Yes, another aspect of autism is inappropriate laughing. Sometimes someone will find things that shouldn't be funny, like, you know, throwing things or hitting someone, you know. It's not very funny. Especially when someone seems like someone is laughing at you. Quite frustrating. A lack of eye contact is something that you also find with autistic people is quite common. You're trying to help someone, you're trying to reassure them that everything is going to be okay, and they refuse to look at you, and you know that's something that we're taught is very important for neurotypical people is eye contact. If you want to be assertive, it's eye contact, and it just isn't something that makes sense and can be quite frightening for someone with autism. One-sided interaction is also something that's quite prominent. I know a young gentleman who's absolutely obsessed with the band Genesis. I don't know why, because I think they're absolutely awful, but he continues to talk about them all day, every day, and never asks me how I am, and never asks me what are you doing this weekend, or, oh, where did you buy that? No, it's just Genesis, Genesis, Genesis. People with autism also have a strange relationship with objects, and trying to explain if an object maybe needs to get washed or is broken and is thrown out, where that object's gone, it can be very distressing, and the repercussions of that can be quite severe, as I've experienced, quite severe. They also sometimes build relationships with random objects that seem to have no emotional significance. I know a girl who likes to take belts, and everywhere she goes, she needs the handbag. Where's the handbag? It's okay, Diane, the handbag is in the bin because it's dirty, because you chose to wipe your bum with it. No, the handbag, and the whole cycle goes on from there, and she screams and she cries, and she doesn't want to hear a word that you say. Also other bizarre behaviours like hand flapping and making strange noises all the time is called stimming, self-stimulation. Basically, it's a coping mechanism. It can seem very strange, and when you're out in public with someone who does that a lot, you get a lot of looks, and you get a lot of, oh, that poor boy. Well, if you'd seen that poor boy before he left the house smacking me about the face because he didn't want to get out of his bed, then you wouldn't be saying poor boy then. He's quite capable, actually. Also, unusual eating habits. There's a condition called pica, which means that you don't have a taste for food. You have a taste for things like hair and dust and fecal matter and other strange things, and trying to stop someone from picking things that are not so nice up off the floor, and they really, really want to, so they will, and if you get in the way, my God, you're in for it. It's my job. There are so many legal constraints, so many governing bodies, the Care Commission. If someone sees you out and about and they don't think something looks quite right, they think you're looking a bit rough or a bit stern, they automatically are going to call the Care Commission, and I'm bound by so many rules that sometimes I feel like I can't protect myself because it might be abuse. Like for instance, a service user is allowed to ask me for some of my dinner or some of my food, but it's abuse if I have some of theirs, which can be very frustrating, and you don't exactly get paid very much, and you don't really have a lot of food, although that way. And yes. two people that you can see are his mother and his brother, and all they want to do is simply put his shoes on so that he can go out and have a nice walk and get some fresh air. Maybe he's been cooped up in the house all day, but he finds it distressing, so he tries to bite himself, and when his brother's clearly trying to stop him bite himself, tries to stop him biting him, and when that happens and you're in that situation, you get looked at and you don't know what to do. You just want to shout, I'm not hurting him, I promise, I'm not hurting this person, I swear, I'm not doing anything, it's him, I'm trying to stop him from hurting me, and I'm trying to stop him from hurting you, and I'm trying to stop him from hurting himself, and you don't always, you're given techniques to be able to avoid anyone being hurt, but there's always that once where you get caught off guard. And don't get me wrong, I'm not going to glamorise the job. I've been up to my elbows and everything, and I've been bitten, I've been scratched, I've had cups thrown at me, I've been bitten on the ass. That was fun explaining that to my boyfriend. Oh darling, you have bite marks on your arse cheek. Well, I was at work, it was a long day. Yes. Once again, 42-year-old Duncan. I think my laundry pile has definitely got worse. And you've cleaned out God knows what. You come home from work. The clothes don't necessarily look dirty, but they are dirty because you've been in them for 10 hours, and only you know what you can. You know what you've put up with that day, with your flaking skin and your shitty nappies and your blood and your God knows what. The guy that picks his ass and rubs your face, you wash your hair. Washing your hair almost every day the minute someone touches your face because you don't know where their hands have been. But I got offered the job, I was working in a care home. And I think the prime reason I took the job was it was more money. And at the time, I didn't really have a great understanding of autism myself. I knew what autism was, as in high functioning and going to be low functioning. But I don't suppose you really appreciate quite how low functioning they're talking about. That put me off, actually. And I found that very damaging. It's quite weird because you look back at the first few months being really quite fond of it. And then you look at how I am now, a year and 2 months later, completely different kind of fish.